I don't know if you remember that Star Wars film. You know, the sequel trilogy, I think it was called. Well, I don't remember. I've long forgot what it was about. I don't remember the characters because the characters were nothing characters. If you asked me about Rey, I wouldn't know. I honestly can't pull anything from that trilogy. But it seems that George Lucas's ex-wife, Marcia Lucas, has come out and completely obliterated Kathleen Kennedy, Jar Jar Abrams, and the entire sequel trilogy. But let's get into it anyway and see what she had to say. Star Wars editor Marcia Lucas decimates Kathleen Kennedy and Jar Jar Abrams over sequel trilogy. Star Wars editor Marcia Lucas, who worked on the original Star Wars film The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, called out Kathleen Kennedy and Jar Jar for their destruction of the Star Wars franchise, and they have completely destroyed that. I think there's a lot of people now that are completely black-pilled on Star Wars now. Lucas, who won an Oscar for Best Film Editing for the original Star Wars film back in 1977, made her thoughts about the Disney sequel trilogy quite clear in a recently published book titled Howard Kazan, A Producer's Life, by recently passed Star Wars author J.W. Rinsler. In the book, as reported by YouTuber Open Airlock Policy, Lucas described the sequel trilogy storylines as terrible. Lucas stated, "I like Kathleen. I always liked her. She was full of beans. She was really smart and really bright, really wonderful woman." I haven't seen any of that from Kathleen Kennedy. And I liked her husband Frank. I like them a lot. However, she then added, "Now that she's running Lucasfilm and making movies, it seems to me that Kathy Kennedy and Jar Jar Abrams don't have a clue about Star Wars. They don't get it." She specifically pointed to the killing of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, and J.J. Abrams is writing these stories. When I saw that movie where they kill Han Solo, I was furious. I was furious when they killed Han Solo. Absolutely, positively, there was no rhyme or reason to it. I thought, you don't get the Jedi story, you don't get the magic of Star Wars, you're getting rid of Han Solo. And then at the end of this last one, The Last Jedi, they have Luke disintegrate. They killed Han Solo, they killed Luke Skywalker, and they don't have Princess Leia anymore, and they're spitting out movies every year. Marcia Lucas would then take issue with Kennedy's attempt to appeal to women with the introduction of Rey. And they think it's important to appeal to a woman's audience, so now their main character is this female who's supposed to have Jedi powers, but we don't know how she got Jedi powers or who she is. It sucks. The storylines are terrible. Just terrible. Awful. Lucas then added, "You can quote me, Jar Jar Abrams. Kathy Kennedy, talk to me." Lucas's comments were also shared to Twitter by Jedi Scum 83. He wrote Marcia Lucas on the Disney-produced Star Wars films. Not only did Jedi Scum 83 share Lucas's thoughts on the sequel trilogy, but she also discussed her thoughts on the prequel trilogy, specifically Episode 1. She said, "George is in his heart and soul a good guy and a talented filmmaker. I wish he would have kept directing movies. But when I went to see Episode 1, I had a friend who worked at ILM who took me as a guest to a preview. I remember going out to the parking lot, sitting in my car and crying. I cried, because I think it was very good." She elaborated, "And I thought he had such a rich vein to mine, a rich palette to tell stories with. He had all those characters, and I thought it was weird that the story was about this little boy who looked like he was 6 years old. But then later on, he's supposed to get with a princess who looked like she was 20 years old. There were things I didn't like about the casting and things I didn't like about the story, and I think I didn't like it was a lot of eye candy, CG. But I mean, now you've got the sequel trilogy, the prequel trilogy actually has something to offer now. I find watching the prequels back, the first one doesn't hold up. The Phantom of the Menace just doesn't hold up. It's just, I find that story could have been done in half an hour. Revenge of the Sith, I like that though. But yeah, Disney have been completely destroyed. And I'd like to think there's more people that hate the sequel trilogy than like it. There's got to be. Because I just don't know what people get out of it. Like I said, I've seen the sequel trilogy once. That's probably enough, unless I want to torture myself. But I mean, if you think about the first time you've seen the original trilogy, it's like there's a lot you can pull from that. You can watch it once and you know everything about the characters. Whereas the sequel trilogy, you watch it once and there's nothing. I don't know what character Rey even was. She wasn't a character. Marcia Lucas would also address claims that she was the heart of Star Wars. I wouldn't so. I definitely made scenes work. I made the end battle work. I definitely had a lot to do with making it work, but I wasn't the writer and I wasn't the director. And I didn't come up with the creative names. Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, all those names are classics. George came up with all of it using his amazing imagination. So these quotes are coming from a book that I mentioned at the start about Howard Kazanjian, who I think he was a producer on 2 of the Star Wars films, the original trilogy, and he was like the head of Lucasfilm as well, I think, for a while. I'm still surprised we haven't seen anything from George Lucas, because there's no way he likes that sequel trilogy. There's just no way. But I mean, he's probably not allowed to say anything, to be honest. It's probably some contractual obligation. Oh, you can't say it's shit, George. Don't tell the public it is in fact shit. But I mean, most of us can figure that out. But yeah, I don't know what people get from it. The people that like Reylos and all that. I don't know what they like about Rey. She's got no likable quality. You can't just have a character that has no flaws and is just good at everything. That's just a boring character then. But I reckon one day George will probably come out and say and just like pan them to shit. Hopefully, because it'd be funny to see. But there's no way he thinks they're good films. There's just no way. But yeah, this will definitely piss off Disney. This will piss off the cesspit that is Lucasfilm. It will piss off Kathleen Kennedy. I don't think Jar Jar Abrams would care. He'll just go on to something else to fucking ruin. So I don't think he really gives a shit. But I think that's all I got to say on that anyway. So if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.